You and your team descend into the sewers, footsteps echoing off of the damp stone walls. You barely notice the smell. There's no time to waste. Audrin's team of mercenaries is down here somewhere, racing to plant their explosive charges beneath the quays. The fate of the crew's bazaar is in your hands. Alright, I have to deactivate all the bombs. Woo. I really enjoy the fact that I have to go and do this. Oh, there's people here. Oh, it looks like the ghouls are here. You did your best. I like how it did aim accuracy after it tried to hit, and so, you know, it was already dead. Oh yeah, I have 3 moves now for the last fight. Damn it. Alright, bomb defused. I should have sent everyone off in different directions to get to the different bombs, because this could potentially come and bite me in the ass. One's there, and one's that way. Okay. I'm gonna send Daytrick, Glory, and the dog to this one. Me and Iger can go to this one that's over here. Hey, buds. Oh wait, shit, I should have gone that way. I'm better. I'm stupid. Why are y'all like this? Ow. Why are you running back? Dude, are you okay? Just turn it off right in front of him, no big. Alright, Glory, let's go. Cow. Please desist, sir. There he goes. He's coming. The infected boys. Oh yeah, so we're starting to deal with him. Damn it. Oops, sorry, friend. Ow. Please do not. As I want. Oops. Sorry, guys. How's my dog doing? I'm going to heal it. This guy. It wasn't looking super yet. Ah, shit. Oh, guys, there's something there. Come on. I just need to get the one last palm. Also, it's taking forever, guys, please. Go run, go run, go run, go run. Figure out what's faster. There. Hi, Conjure. Guess what? Fuck you. You're fine, dude. Just stop waiting. There's my Conjure over. Oh. Good. Appreciate it. Stop shooting my dog! Yeah, I imagine this bit would be a little more annoying if we didn't have our little ghoul friends. Yay! That's right, be on fire. Again with the upping aim accuracy after you've already tried to shoot someone. Get the fuck. Oh, there's a thing we can summon over there. Kind of playground. Damn it. Ah, he's dead. Get fucked. You guys tried. Let's head to the safe house, take care of Paul. That orc is gonna pay for this. Can I talk to them and be like, hey guys, thanks for saving our bacon? Or, you know, like helping us save everyone's bacon. No, I can't be thanks guys? Wow. Fucking rude as fuck. That's mine. I still don't know what kind of fucking dog Monica's is having here. You emerge from the foulness of the sewers only to be met with the equally dark stench of cordite and death. Although you've saved the keys, it's far from unharmed. Residents wander the streets, dazed, holding their wounds, tending to others, observing the damage. The look in their eyes tells the story. Their illusion of safety has been shattered. You enter Paul Amsel's trade emporium, already knowing what you'll find there. The knowledge doesn't make the discovery any easier. I mean, I was already in there. Once again, the team gathers around Paul Amsel, but tonight he has no more missions to offer and no advice to give. His body lies motionless on the hardwood, cooling in the night air. The ruin of his face has been hidden under a burlap tarp. For several minutes, nobody speaks. Finally, Beatrix steps forward. I think we should say something about Paul. There's another moment of silence, then Iger speaks up. I'll go. Iger brings herself to attention, stares straight ahead. Paul Amsel was an important member of this team, and he supported us well. He did what he was going to do. He said what he was going to do, and he did it. That's rare. That's worthy of respect. She stares down at the body. There's a long pause before she speaks again. Thank you, Paul Amsel, for everything. Another pause. Her voice softens. I was out of position when they came for you. I couldn't save you. I'm sorry. The others shift uncomfortably, not knowing what to say. Gloria breaks the awkward moment, her voice a frosty monotone. I appreciate what Amsel did for us. It's another loss, one that this team can't afford. Gloria's eyes sweep across the group and then land on Amsel's body. Her expression is impossible to read. After a moment, she turns her head back to you. It's hard, I know, but this is why we need to keep together. Support each other. No one's going to look out for us but us. Beatrix eyes you appreciatively. Yeah, that's right. There's more to this than a mercenary's paycheck. There has to be. Goodbye, Paul. Got to see meet, dear. Oh, Blitz showed up. Gingerly, Blitz steps forward. His hair is mussed and there's a fresh bullet hole in his jacket. He smells like smoke and blood and stale sweat, and his hands tremble as he takes them out of his pockets. Well, I didn't know Paul as well as the rest of you, but he seemed like a good guy. He shuffles his feet. I didn't want to see this happen, at any rate. You okay, Blitz? Looks like you and Malit saw some action back there. Yeah, his eyes remain fixed on Amsel's body. I'll live. As if in turn, Dante lowers his head sadly, lets out a heavy sigh, and closes his eyes. I'll miss you, Paul. Don't worry about the body, I know what to do. Be respectful, but be quick. After all, it's only a shell. Paul's with Monica now. We're all gonna be with Monica soon if we don't do something. The fireman came after us once, she'll do it again. And she doesn't care if she brings down an entire Keys to get to us. Can't argue with that, boss. While Firewing lives, the Cruise Bazaar is at risk. Our friends, our home, everything that Monica and Paul fought to protect, they'll all be destroyed if we don't put an end to her first. Come on, everyone. Let's go look at that optical chip. I want to see what we're dealing with. Hey, doggo. Dante lifts his head and looks up at you mournfully. The feral aggression is gone from his eyes. He's changed. You can see it, but he's still Dante. So, Afer. Dante was very helpful out there, but I am a bit concerned about his fire breathing. Pretty cool trick, don't you think? It is handy. That's not hard to argue. He's not a normal dog, not by a long shot. Is he possessed? I assume you've checked his aura and discovered he's part hellhound. Monica trained him for months to be combat ready. We had a hellhound in the house and Monica didn't tell us? For months? Afer has him under control. Dante performed well in the field, followed commands flawlessly. I have no concerns. Welcome to the team, Dante. Any messages? I want to see the Shadowland. Shatnest under siege. All-out war has broken out between the Rambach and several mercenary groups. Not sure who started it, not sure if it matters. If I were you, I'd say the hell away until they finished killing each other. I knew that place was a powder keg, but this is a bit much. Has anyone made it out of there safely? Streets aren't safe at the moment. If people aren't out already, they'd better have some food and water stockpiled. The fucking bullshit group posted something about the Labochevsky, but I haven't been able to find any evidence to corroborate that. Just like Jas claims, it's just the Rambach defending their turf against these free agents. Selling used custom Westwind 2000. Like it says, good in condition, clean. Got the turbocharged kit, additional armor plated added to the front and sides. Trunk has a mounted Ares autocannon, but you'll need a rigger to operate it. No hand access. Looking for 80,000 OBO. Nice car. Wouldn't happen to any corpse looking for it at the moment, eh? Has the PPS been triggered? Any wrecks rebuild? Nope, all clear on that front. Nobody drove this baby but me, and I don't wreck cars. The autocannon dropped the last sucker who tried to do any damage. Anything else? Alright, let's read the contents. You slot the optical chip into the computer's waiting chip jack. On the screen, Alice's office blossoms into view. A half-second later, a real-time simulation of Alice appears seated behind her mahogany desk. Something about it reminds you of a figure from a wax museum. Lifelike, but dead inside. It greets you with a facsimile of Alice's joyless smile. Customer name, Afer. Its voice is hollow, synthetic, an automaton masquerading as a living woman, one who you've never even met in the flesh. Account number 1012579. Greetings, valued customer. I am an offline simulacrum of the Alice persona. I have been included on this chip to answer any questions that you might have about your information purchase. Nifty piece of tech. Not now, Blitz. If you are ready to proceed, I will present Alice's findings. You may interrupt this presentation at any point by saying, Alice, I have a question. Is that the only thing you respond to, or can I talk to you like a normal person? The simulation hitches slightly. You may interrupt this presentation at any point by saying, Alice, I have a question. Well, that answers that. We're ready. Let's get the show on the road. Very well. Commencing presentation. The simulacrum goes rigid for a moment, then seems to relax. When it speaks, it sounds more natural, as though the real Alice is speaking through it. Alright, Afer, I've got good news for you, and I've got bad news. Let's start with the good news. I found Vauclair, and he is alive. Oh, thank God. The Chelsea missing doctor was a long and slippery one. The fee that you paid me barely covered my costs for the job. I sent a team into the Sox on a fact-finding mission. I bribed government officials. I greased the palms of wage slaves at Megacorps all across Europe. Each step I took eliminated possibilities, drew me a little bit closer, and finally I found the place where Vauclair is being held. I bet it's the mansion. The simulacrum makes a sweeping gesture with its right hand, and an image switchblades onto the screen. A grainy overhead photograph annotated with map coordinates. You recognize it immediately. This is where you'll find him. He's being held captive at a remote estate called the Harfeld Manor. You've got to be kidding me. He was there the whole time? I'm not surprised. Glory says nothing. She just studies the photograph and nods. Okay, nobody tell me. I get it. This is something else that I missed. Alice, I have a question. The simulacrum hitches again, and you can feel the life drain out of it and looks at you robotically. You have a question. Alright, please make your inquiry now. You said that Vauclair is being held at the estate. What evidence did you turn up to support that? One of my assets at Transys Neuronet provided me with a video feed dated 2053-1010. The feed is taken by a corporate surveillance drone. Playback commencing. The screen is filled with a grainy black and white video feed. You recognize the Harfield Manor photographed from high above. The camera pushes in and the image sharpens. Through a barred ground-level window, you can see the shape of a stooped, emaciated figure. His body shows clear signs of neglect. The figure is unmistakable. It's Vauclair, 20 years older and worse for wear. His skin hangs loose on his bones and his cheeks are hollow. There is a distinctly grey pallor to his skin. That's Vauclair, all right. What's left of him anyway? It doesn't look like I've been feeding him much. He shakes his head. Poor bastard. Another figure steps into frame behind Vauclair, an orc. He turns his head slightly, and his skin grasps catch the light. Vauclair slowly turns to face Audryn, and the video feed cuts out. The simulacrum stares at you impassively. Do you have another question? What else did you turn up about Harfield Manor? Seismological data and thermal imaging confirms the existence of a large hollow chamber under the estate. It is my suspicion that Dr. Vauclair is being held somewhere within this substructure. If Firewings kept Vauclair trapped there for almost 20 years, she's got to have a reason for it. It takes effort and resources to lock away a man away for that amount of time. So what's her endgame in all of this? Why not just kill him and be done with it? Malice, revenge, who knows? Remember, this was the man who shot her down. He sent her crashing into a radioactive wasteland. If somebody did that to me, I'd want to hurt him too, and I'd make it last. I think it goes deeper than that. According to Winter's DVD, Vauclair designed the experimental weapon that shot her down, and that weapon split her body from her essence. Glory glances down at her own steel and chrome arms and suppresses a shudder. If I had to guess, I'd say that she's trying to make him fix whatever he did to her. That's what makes sense to me. There's a moment of silence as the group processes Glory's suggestion. Before anyone can speak, the simulacrum cuts back in. Do you have another question? No. Very well, prepare to interrupt again with any future inquiries. The simulacrum pauses and a brief tremor washes over its body. Its eyes flutter and you can hear the sound of your computer working to process more of the chip's data. Iger turns to address the team. If Vauclair's at Harfield, we've got a problem. The last time we broke into that place, they took Monica out. It was a miracle that any of you got out alive. Yeah, but now we know it's down there. This time, we'll be prepared for it. We can handle this. Iger shakes her head. No, it'll be even worse this time. The first time we went in, we had the element of surprise on our side, but now they'll be expecting us. They're hunting us, remember? The security team is going to be waiting for us, Daytrick. That Audryn bastard is going to be waiting for us. And even if we make it past them, we're still going to have to deal with the dragon in the basement. Well, what else can we do? Cut and run? The last time I checked, that wasn't an option either. Even if it were, I wouldn't take it. I'm not running from this. Not after what they did here tonight. None of us are, Glory, but Iger's right. We can't just go charging in there again, not without some kind of edge. The simulacrum jerks back to life. It resumes speaking, blissfully unaware of the conversation that it's cutting off. And now, Aver, on to the bad news. You now know where Vauclair is, but rescuing him will not be possible. Alice, I have a question. He continues without waiting for a response. Why the hell not? In the course of my investigation, I encountered something terrifying in the Matrix. It was fast, cunning, and very definitely intelligent. I'm convinced that I only escaped because it let me go. It could have killed me in a heartbeat if it wanted to. This thing that I met is protecting the Harfield Manor, and it's going to after anyone who gets too close to what's happening there. Alice, what did you see in there? What is going on after these people? By way of explanation, I would like you to read this following document. The simulacrum makes another sweeping gesture and the menu slides back onto the screen. This time it is filled with text. What you're looking at is an archived forum discussion from the early days of the Shadowrun BBS. Blitz stares at the text on the screen. Isn't kidding, Chief. This discussion is dated back to 2036. That's ancient history in the decking community. It probably isn't even correct to call these guys deckers. Hackers would be a more appropriate term. When you're finished reading it over, say, Alice, I'm done and we can continue. As you lean in to read, the text slowly begins to scroll up from the bottom of the screen. You all heard about the SK team that got crisped a few hours ago? A whole lab's worth of researchers all burned and broken beyond recognition. Ugly stuff. At this point, who hasn't? Power spike. Got them right through their data jacks like a bolt of lightning to the brain. A 1 in a million accident is what they're saying. And you believe that? Got a more plausible explanation? Yes, actually, it was a cleanup operation. Colored me intrigued. What were they cleaning up? A secret project that Lofreer didn't want anything to do with. You might have heard rumors about it. The project name was Apex. And you've lost me. Apex, Clockwork? Seriously? That old line of dreck? I'm telling you, jokers, Apex is real, or at least it was, until the Wizworm pulled the plug. Come on, Clockwork. We're still decades away from seeing a fully functional AI. You know that. Those Apex stories that they've been floating around, they're just some conspiracy nuts wet dream. Fine, keep your heads in the sand. Some of us know the truth when we read it. Okay, Clock, I'll humor you, but riddle me this. If Lofty had an armed and operational AI in his claws, why kill it? Do you remember what happened to most of Echo Mirage? The crash virus killed them, fried their brains, but I don't see what that has to do with anything. With the commercial release of the CDT-1000, some security firms are working on counter-intrusion software that can do the same thing. Black Ice. You can look it up if you don't believe me. Whoa, scary stuff, man. Well, the goal of the Apex project was even scarier. ICE waits for you to come to it. Apex wouldn't be bound by those restrictions. It could go out hunting, hit its targets when they least expected it. That's why they called it Apex. It was designed to be the apex predator of the digital world. And so, rather than using it to his advantage, Lawfear decided to kill it in its cradle. The Wizworm's no fool. Some things are too dangerous to play around with. How would you put that genie back in the bottle if it ever slipped out of your control? Answer, you couldn't. And then it would take over the world. Okay, this thread has officially gone off the rails. I'm closing it down for the good of mankind. Alice, I'm done. The simulacrum jerks back to life and settles into a neutral pose. There's no official records in the Satyr Group database to support the existence of the Apex project, but the thing that I encountered was Apex. Of that I am certain. Just as I am certain that Apex was responsible for the deaths of Monica Schaffer, Green Winters, Clockwork Peregrine, and a score of other deckers over the last 16 years. What? Clockwork's still alive, though. Like, he's posting in the Shadowrun BBS, like, right now. Blitz raises his hand. Hold up. Alice, I have a question. I thought they said that Lawfear killed Apex. They speculated as much, yes. They were wrong on that count. I do believe that Satyr Group was developing Apex as a tool for Matrix warfare. I am also convinced that the IT personnel who were killed were the Apex development team. But I don't think that Lawfear was responsible for their deaths. Apex killed them. That'd be my guess, yes. In the turmoil surrounding Lawfear's buyout of Satyr Group, a number of projects went missing. I believe that Apex was appropriated by a member of Firewing's organization at this point. It was then unleashed on its own development team to silence them. Since then, it has provided information control for the Firewing. A pet AI would explain how Firewing has managed to maintain her conspiracy and avoid detection for the past 2 decades. Anytime anyone gets close, the AI takes them out and scrubs the record clean. So there's your bad news, Aether. Vauclair is being held at the Harfield Manor, but knowing that does you no good because you can't approach the place. I doubt that you could open the door without Apex frying you. We did last time. They were trying to protect their secret. Like Audryn said, if we hadn't gone down into the basement, they'd have let us go. Apex didn't react to us until Monica attempted to force the door to the basement. And now that the cat's out of the bag, they have no reason not to pull up the big guns on sight. Daychick grimaces. You're right, we can't go back while Apex is in place. The room falls into silence. Finally, Iger turns to you. What's the play, Eifer? We can't turn back now. If Apex is standing between us and Vauclair, then we need to find a way to kill Apex. Fucking A, boss. I'm in. Did you hear that, Alice? Do you have any suggestions? The simulacrum hitches again. The pause stretches. Finally, it comes back to life. The AI has a kill switch, but Alice deemed any additional contact with Apex to be an unjustifiable risk. Attempting to reach the kill switch would be inadvisable. Save me the warnings. I'm gonna kill this thing. I owe Monica that much. You and me both. Alice, tell us about Apex's kill switch. The simulacrum stares at you with dead eyes. Thanks to my close encounter with the AI, I was able to run a trace on it. Through this trace, I discovered the physical address of a backdoor access point for Apex's programming. An old Satyr Group research lab, long since abandoned and fallen into disrepair. The facility is now hotly contested gang territory. I have also determined that a kill switch for the AI exists somewhere in the basement of this facility. I will provide you with a physical address. I don't like the smell of this, Chief. It said that Apex let Alice escape. He turns to address the simulacrum on the screen. Alice, why would a Matrix Warfare AI why would a Matrix Warfare AI allow you to run a trace on it? It stares straight ahead. Its eyes are dead. I'm afraid that the answer to that question falls outside of the scope of my written parameters. The simulacrum stutters one final time, then looks up at you with an apologetic smile. You have now reached the end of this presentation. I have been encoded with a final message from Alice to Aether. Playback commencing. The simulacrum's eyes go wide and the life flows back into it. It stares directly at you. Aether, if you didn't listen to me before, listen to me now. Drop this. Stop going after Vauclair, get out of Berlin, and stay out of the Matrix. I'm telling you this for your own good. That's all I have to say. I'm following my own advice. I'm out. Don't try to contact me again. The simulacrum reverts to its idle state, something like a puppet with its strings cut. Its eyes glaze over and its face goes slack. Then the screen cuts to black. Well, shit. So this dragon has a killer AI in charge of security. I can't say I'm surprised, but then nothing surprises me anymore. We know it killed Monica, we have a name for it, and we know how to kill it. That's good enough for me. We know what we have to do. We can either stand around talking about it, or we can do it. Agreed. We shut down Apex and we re-enter the estate and rescue Vauclair. He's the key to this whole thing. Sounds like a plan, boss. I still say all this is crazy talk, Chief. Taking on an AI isn't just a bad idea, it's suicide, so my vote is to cut and run. Blitz surveys the rest of the group, sees the determination on their faces. Finally, he sighs. But if you're really doing this, you'll want the best decker you can find along for the ride, and I guess that nominates me. Woo. Alice said that the kill switch is located in some old SK facility. Assuming that the site was shut down sometime after the Apex project disappeared, it could have stood empty for years, maybe decades. She also said that the building was in gang territory now. I wonder if this will be anything like Das Kesselhaus was. God, I hope not. There's only one way to find it. Let's get prepped. This thing isn't going to kill itself. Blitz glances at you. The worry is painted all over his face. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you better bring me along. You try to go up against an AI without a Nova Hot Decker at your side, and you're probably going to regret it. Iger begins her weapons check. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Whatever's there, we'll deal with it. First, we find our way into the basement. She peers through the scope of her sniper rifle, and then we kill the AI that killed Monica. Damn right. The team breaks to begin gearing up. As she slides a shell into her shotgun, Iger catches your eye. You did good out there defending the cruise bazaar. You've had our backs the entire way. Made good decisions. Are we gonna hug now? Iger snorts. I don't think so. Don't want to hurt you. Anyway, we should get back to it. We've got an AI to take out after all. She pauses for a moment, frowning. Afer, do me a favor and keep your eyes open on this one. We're walking into the unknown here. Makes me a little uneasy. Don't worry, Iger. I've got your back. She smiles, claps you on the shoulder. I know you do, and I've got yours. You've more than earned it. Stop, you're making my mascara run. She smirks as she slides the shotgun onto its sheath at her back. I had that effect on people sometimes. Come on, you two, we've got a job to get ready for.